Well, welcome back to La Para. I arrived just after 11 last night, almost straight to bed, and then up this morning, went off to Campobasso, done some shopping to get bread and milk and, food. And then as soon as I was back, I was in the office working. So it's only really been this evening that I've been able to kind of get stuff done. I've been out in the garden all afternoon. It's probably about 8:30. It's just kind of, the sun's just setting. It's lovely and cool now. It was really hot this afternoon when I first started working. But I've been busy. Got the grass all cut. Back. Again, I'm just surprised how quickly stuff grows here, even though we haven't had any rain. But the plants are doing great. I'm so much better now because I can now identify the plants. I've got a little app on my phone, take a picture, and it tells me what it is, tells me if it's a weed, tells me if it's something that I need to keep. So when I was cutting the grass this time, I was looking to see what had kind of come up through the grass and thought, is that something that I can keep that could maybe become a bush or a plant? So when I cut the grass today, you might not see it in this light, but there's little bits that I haven't done. Let's go over there, that I haven't cut down because they're plants that I can either let grow and replant somewhere else, or I can just leave them and see if they turn into bushes. Because it doesn't really grow as grass. It's a whole mixture of stuff coming up. Look at my grapes. I'm really impressed with my grapes. I've been online, and I need to prune it all back to get a nice grape from it. But it's just went wild. It's absolutely got an abundance of grapes, but I can't keep them all, or I'll end up with pure quality grape. So I've been watching a couple of YouTube videos. So my intention is that what I'll do is I'll trim it back so that all the energy goes into producing the fruit. That's my plan. Quite happy with the olive trees. The one thing I'm doing tonight, and I've actually got the shovel up here, is when I cut. If you were on my video from November, when I first came and started cutting back the garden, and this was just, it was basically this high, and there was just vines through everything. You couldn't see that wall there. You could barely see the house. And I had to cut it all back. But what I've got is all these vine roots still in the grass. This one here, it's solid. It's going nowhere. So what I'm doing is I'm getting the shovel under them and digging them out. Now that they haven't got any fresh growth on them, they're kind of a bit drier and they're easier to get to. So I'll just work slowly, clear it, because what happens is when I'm cutting the grass, I keep catching them, and it's not good for the lawnmower. And you'll see them, right through here, just coming right through there, and they're everywhere, but they're just under the surface. And they just, as they extend, they put down roots. So no, it's it'll probably take a couple of nights. My plan this week is really just concentrate on getting the garden cut back, trimmed, cleaned a bit around the side that I haven't really done anything with since I filled the hole in. An update on what else I've done today. Having got here last night, just before midnight, and it was 26 degrees in the house. The irony for me is when I was here, 3-4 months ago, it was too cold and I wanted the heating on. Now I want air conditioning on and I don't have air conditioning. So I spoke to the electrician and the plumber. The plumber came round tonight, and I'm going to get a quote to get air conditioning put, if nothing else, in the bedrooms. So at least it's a bit cooler in the bedrooms at night. But last night I climbed into bed and within 5 minutes the duvet was gone. I stripped the duvet out the cover and just had the cover. But no, everything's really just as I left it. I've got a nice big storage box. I'll maybe show you that when I'm inside next, for putting all the cushions for the patio furniture in, instead of them just lying on the floor. But no, there's still loads to do. The thing that I'm really prepping for as well is this week on Saturday, which is what, 14 days? 13 days, no, it's not 14. Yeah, probably about 13 days. My sister's flying over from Scotland to stay for a week. So I've got to get that room, her room, painted. To be fair, it doesn't need painted, but I'd like to get it painted before she comes over. So no, that's my kind of focus this week. Get the garden sorted out and get some decorating done inside. And if I get a good enough quote back for the aircon, I'll see about getting that fitted. I'm here for 5 weeks this time. It's probably the longest I've ever been here. I've been here for a month before, but I'm here for 5 weeks this time. And the fact that I flew in yesterday, I flew into Pescara yesterday, meant I didn't have that 3-day drive down from Scotland. It was just basically a day flying from Edinburgh via Stansted. But I had a busy weekend with work, with a day job, so I was basically, I had a wee sleep on the plane before I got here. But no, everything's good. So I'll keep you abreast of what I'm doing over the next 5 weeks, and let's see how it goes. Oh, and by the way, Scotland play their first game this weekend, so I might actually get my Scotland flag. I've got a flagpole. It's the one I used to have with the motorhome when we were going to Grand Prix and whatnot. It's in the garage, and I've got my Scotland flags. So at the weekend I might put them up, just to show the Italians that Scotland are in the World Cup, and for the first time in a long time. Okay, out this morning, and I decided I'm doing a wee bit of pruning. I pruned straight at the front, and I'm just going to prune my grapes. So you can see that these are all the grapes forming here. And because it was cut back in the winter, you know, I've got a good potential crop of grapes there. But there's too much growth on it now, and I'll end up with small grapes that won't be really tasty. So I need to trim it back so that all the goodness is going to the grapes. So that's my kind of job. We consider this was kind of almost dormant over the winter. To see it now, I'm really pleased. I mean, it's absolutely heaving with grapes. So let's see how I get on. Out and about tonight. Been a while, but nice day out. Nice big storm clouds sitting over the hill there. It's actually been quite a nice day, but it feels like there's rain in the air. I'm right up above the village here. It's been all uphill to get to this point. Luckily it's all downhill from here. Lupara is the way I've just come. Castleberry is down this road, takes me all the way down. You can just see the church spire in the distance, just next to that little building. There's a village down there, so I'll be cycling down to that village and then I'll cycle back, and you can just see the road that I'll cycle back down in the dip there. So it's a nice loop, a bit uphill, a bit of downhill, and hopefully get home before the rain comes. Yeah, I'm glad I brought the bike. I could be working in the house tonight, but here's some. I want to enjoy being here, and it's nice and warm. You know, providing there's a rain, I don't need a jacket. So no. But great vantage point when you come up here. You know, you see right down over the valley, the main road to Termoli, Campobasso, and all the little hilltop villages that exist. So as we learned when I was here last year looking at houses, everything's on top of a hill. So you go down a hill, come up a hill, down a hill, up a hill when you're driving across country here. There's very few direct level routes. So I'm glad I've got my electric mountain bike, which helps me get up the hills, and I can just coast down. But no, nice wee change for tonight. I finished work quite late, so I thought I'd done one little job replacing a light fitting, and I thought, sod it, I'm going out on the bike. I've also been to the shop, got some milk, spoke to a couple of people loosely, and then out on the bike. So it's to be fair, it's only 7 o'clock here. It gets dark about 8:30, so I've got about an hour and a half, providing the rain stays away. But good enough. Okay, a lot of the people that I speak to back home ask me where I stay. It's almost the first question when you say, I stay in Italy, or I'm going to Italy, or whatever they say. Oh, where? Where in Italy? So I've got to kind of explain it in relation to, it's not south, it's not north, it's kind of in the middle. So I've actually now got a map of Italy. So I thought what I would do is I would show you on the map where I am. It just makes it easier for people to understand where in Italy I am. So I'll just swing this round. So here is Italy. Now the important thing to recognise here is Italy doesn't go north to south. It runs at a diagonal. You know, so you're basically heading down the island, but you're heading down, it's not an island, heading down at kind of 45 degrees from north to south. Or probably northeast to south. No, northwest to southeast. Get there in the end. So here's up the top Milan, Venice. You've got Florence. Florence. Have we got Florence in the right place? Yeah, Florence is up here somewhere. Yeah, there's Florence. You've got Rome down here, and then you've got Naples down here, and then you go all the way down, and down the bottom you've got Sicily. Now my sister, she has a house in Sambuca di Sicilia in Sicily, but I wanted to be on the mainland. I did look at Sicily initially, but I wanted to be in the mainland because I wanted to be able to drive, to bring stuff down and to bring in, because of the complications in relation to you can't buy a car here. And I thought, I don't want to hire a car every time I come, or be in a position where I don't have access to transport. So I thought, no, if I'm on the mainland, at least I can then come down with something and I can drive home again with it. I could technically do that in Sicily, but it's you're getting a ferry, you're driving all the way up through Europe. It's a long enough drive as it is at 3 days. That would probably make it 4 days. So when I came over, and it's almost a year since I came over to view houses, I flew into Naples, and then drove all the way up to this little village here called Coronaldo, and spent the next 5 days driving down through Marquet, Abruzzo, Molise into Campania, and then we spent the last weekend in and around Napoli, Salerno, kind of doing the kind of more the touristy stuff. So we kind of done that and looked at different houses as we go down. Now the thing to remember is you go up the north of Italy and it's very much industrial. It's really the heartland. If I had to liken it to anything, it's like going down to southeast England. It's more heavily populated. It's where all the businesses are. It's where all the jobs are. And people routinely kind of head in that direction, particularly young people, not to go to university or whatever, or they head to the cities like Rome, like Naples. And I didn't want to be in a city. I wanted to be out in the country. I wanted to be in a village. Hence why I kind of ended up here. So all the places that I had on my to-do list were, or to look at list, were where they were like hilltop towns. And really, to be fair, that's where the more affordable property is. You know, so I'd set myself a budget. I said, I'm not going to, I've got money, I've got £60,000, that's it. And so whatever I buy has to be within that budget. Not a lot of money. I mean, you wouldn't get anything in the UK for 60,000, but that was, you know, that's what I worked to. So I came over, and most of what I was looking at kind of started at about £30,000. This one, to be fair, was right at the top of the budget. This was €60,000, which is about £48,000 on the exchange rate. And I had a criteria. I wanted a garage, I wanted workspace, I wanted at least 2 bedrooms, I wanted some outside garden space, you know, so I had a criteria that I worked to. So all the properties, and to be fair, when I started looking, there was 98 properties met that criteria, and I thought, well, I couldn't possibly go and look at 98 properties. So I whittled it down, and we got down to about probably 25. So I then started contacting agents of these 25. Now the problem with the website is they're not very quick here. If something sells, they're not very quick at taking it off. So suddenly when you were reaching out, the folks, you know, they either weren't responding or they just basically weren't, it wasn't available anymore. And I appreciate they probably got a lot of foreigners message them saying, I'm interested in your house, can you tell me more about it? That come to nothing. When I was contacting them, I was basically saying, listen, I'm over from this date to this date, I'm going to be in this area on that day, can I come and view the house? And I took the view. If they didn't respond, it was off the list. So in the end, I think we viewed 15 properties over the space of the 5-6 days. And again, I think we arrived on the Saturday. We spent the Saturday driving up to Coronaldo, stayed overnight in Coronaldo, and then the thinking was, right, what we'll do is we'll then kind of view stuff up in Marquet, and then spend a day in Abruzzo, and then you know, just work our way down. And we had a couple of houses, no more than 2 or 3 a day, that we were looking at. And I thought, well, it gives me an idea to get a feel for the area, where the house is, whether it's suitable. And that was really, really useful. I think you've got to come and see these houses, because some that I thought were like first, second options on paper, when I got to them and I seen where they were or seen what they were like in reality, it was like, no, this isn't the one. This isn't the one. A lot of these houses that are empty or cheap, they're cheap for a reason. They're needing a lot of work done to them, and in some cases they've got structural damage, and that's why nobody's living in them. Some people have moved out of the houses because they've gone to work elsewhere within the country. Some people have died and it's just been abandoned. but in other situations, people have moved out of it because it's got structural damage and it's needing major repairs. And at 62, I wasn't in any position where I was wanting to take on any major structural jobs. Quite happy with minor refurb, but I didn't want anything major structural. So some of them we went to look at, nice enough house, and I'm going, but no, it's quite a big job. Or on some occasions, it was just overpriced for what they were wanting for it. I'm going, no, I don't think it's worth that. Or it wasn't near a village where we could get access to facilities and whatnot. So we worked our way down from Marquay down through Abruzzo, and where we are today is in the little town of Lipara, and I've marked it there with a little blue dot. If you see that little blue dot, so it's in Molise. Nearest big town to us is Campobasso. The nearest kind of beach to us is Termoli on the coast. So when I drive down through Switzerland, stay overnight in Switzerland, and then I drive all the way down, round Milan, all the way down through Bologna, Rimini, Ancona, Pescara. Now the critical thing about Pescara is that's the nearest airport. So if I'm flying in and out, you'll see Pescara's there, the house is there. That's the closest. However, I also have the option of flying from Napoli, slightly further away, but you can get a direct connection to Scotland, whereas Pescara, I'm going either via Belgium, Stansted, or in some instances Milan. I can get a connection via Milan. How I explain it to people in relation to where I stay is what I say is if you draw a horizontal line from Rome and go that way and draw another vertical line from Naples, you end up in Molise. That's about where I am. So Rome is that way, Naples is that way. And that's how I normally explain it to people, to basically say, right, if you want to look for me on a map, that's where you're going to find me. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm obviously working from home, and I've just clocked off for the day. It's Friday afternoon. I've just clocked off for the day, and apparently it's raining back in Scotland, and I'll the curtains here. Oh, that's what I'm going out to this afternoon. 28 degrees. Got loads of little jobs to do. The hardest job is trying to decide what the priority is on any given day. But no, so that was just me giving you a little explanation to where I am in Italy and how I get back and forward. I flew in this time into Pescara on Monday night, and when I go home I will basically be driving back up through Switzerland, up through France, Luxembourg, Belgium, Holland, and then the ferry from Holland over to England, and then up through England and Scotland. So it'll be a 3-day trip back again. However, this Saturday, my sister's flying in to stay with me for a week, and she's flying into Napoli. So I'll be driving down to Napoli on Saturday, a week on Saturday, to pick my sister up, who's coming for a week. So I'm looking forward to that, because nobody else has been here since I bought the house. Emily came with me last year when I came to view the houses, but nobody else has been here. I've been the only one that stayed here since I bought it in September last year. So it'll just be nice to have somebody else in the house apart from the electricians and the plumber, who seem to be the only ones that have actually ever been here as well. But I think I've made it homely. I think I've made it homely with what I've done. Quite pleased with everything. Like I say, I've still got a bit of decorating to do. But you know, it's perfectly livable by anybody's standards. I even got some table mats printed with a picture of the house on it, thanks to the guys at Re-Employ. It was a little job I gave them. I've got all the patio furniture outside. And I've got a wee story here in relation to the storage of the patio furniture. So, when I wasn't here, when I went away home for a couple of weeks, I didn't want to leave the cushions and everything outside. And I thought, right, I need to bring them in. So I just brought them in and kind of dumped them on the floor. And I thought, I need something a bit more, for over the winter, somewhere to put them that isn't, they're just lying on the floor. So I thought, I'll go online and I'll buy one of these little storage containers to keep them in. And I thought, I need a decent sized one because there's quite a few cushions here. So I ordered this and it was lying at the door when I arrived. I made it up and it's now here. And it's bloody huge. Absolutely huge. Mate, it's cracking. Absolutely cracking. It's all lined inside. But it's, I'll get quite a few cushions in there. So, no, I've got plenty of storage. And it doesn't, it works fine. It's in the dining room or a dining space. It's ideal for what's out there. And to be fair, it actually acts as a little tabletop as well for kind of putting stuff on. But no, Friday afternoon, I've got this weekend to work on the house. Like I say, I've just got to decide what the hell I'm doing, because I want to get some of the painting and stuff finished off around about the, the rewire and whatnot. I want to get that done. I've still got stuff to do in the garden. I've bought a canopy, so my plan is, because you'll see it there at the moment, your direct sunlight here. To the extent it's you can only sit out there for a short period of time, it just gets too hot. So what I've done is I've bought a wind out awning that I can bolt to the wall above the window, which I can wind out just to give us a bit of shade. So it's down in the garage, it needs assembled and it needs fitted. So I've got that as a job to do. Like I say, I've still got the garden to do. I've got some brickwork to do, I've got some plastering to do. It's just deciding what the priority is. I also want to go and get some curtains. So my sister's going to be staying in this room. But there isn't actually, there's this neck curtain, but there is no curtains as such. So what I might have to do is get a proper curtain rail and a set of curtains. Because the biggest issue I've had is trying to get curtains that fit this size. And I'm looking at 2.4 as a length. I did swither about putting them just down to the bottom of the window, the top of the radiator, but I thought no, I'll go the full height, because I can get them at 2.4. But it means I've got to put the curtain rail up on the timber sort of permit thing. Now that timber permit, all the rooms have got it. In essence, what is in that space is actually the roller from outside. So you see that there is a roller. Oh, I can't do it with one hand, but there's a roller shutter that comes down in front of the window. Now, failing the fact that if I don't have time to get curtains up, I'll just say to put the shutter down at night, so at least then she's got a bit of privacy. Yeah, so there's a couple of rooms that I want to get curtain rails in and get curtains in, because the way it seems to work here is everybody's just got nets. The other thing that I've noticed is most of the houses have fly screens. So because it's been quite warm, I've had these are kitchen doors. I've had the kitchen doors open, but the problem is you get all the flies coming in. So what I've noticed from a lot of the other houses is, yeah, they open their doors, but they have fly screens on the inside. Or the other thing that they have, which is all over the place, is the little beads, net beads that hang in front of the door. That seems to stop. It allows air in, but it just stops, the beasties coming in. So I might look at that as an option as well. I need to do a wee bit of digging around and see what I can find. The big update from me though is I've just agreed with the electrician the price for the air conditioning in the 2 bedrooms. My intention is I'm going to get air conditioning in here, but I want to do, my priority is get the 2 bedrooms done, because you really notice it when you're trying to sleep at night. So my thinking is, and what I've ordered a dual system, so it's one condenser, and the condenser will go out on the veranda outside the bedroom here. So the condenser will go in that wall, and then be piped through, and there'll be an internal unit here in this room, and an internal unit on the other side of the wall in the other room. And that will give us aircon in both the bedrooms. That's Wi-Fi operated. So I think if nothing else, it'll give us somewhere cool to sleep at night. My intention then would be, and to be fair, at the moment I've got the budget for it. It's more a case of what I think I can get done before, in the time I'm here. So my intention is to get another unit put through here in the sitting room, probably above where the mirror is at the moment. Now this is a big room, so it's going to require a larger condenser outside to cool this space. This space does get warm, mainly because, unlike the other side of the house where the bedrooms are, it really doesn't get direct sunlight. Whereas this part of the house, particularly the dining room, really gets sun. It gets sun in the sitting room first thing in the morning, and then the sun comes all the way around, and then kind of sets outside the kitchen. So this room tends to get quite warm. But I can live with this being quite warm because it's easy to open the doors and leave the doors open. And I'm not spending a lot of time in here. So the intention is get the aircon in the 2 bedrooms first. If that works fine, I'll then maybe look when I'm back out in September, get an aircon put in here. And I think collectively between the aircon, the 2 separate air-conned areas, it'll keep the area in between cool as well, as long as I keep the doors and windows kind of open. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but that puts me in a better position in the fact that I've now got new heating for the winter months. I've got the wiring done, and I'll have aircon for the summer months. Which were really the big key things that I wanted to do. There are other jobs that I've got to do, but that was the key ones that I wanted to kind of cover when I was here this time. Still got my plaster work to do, as I said earlier, but I don't want to patch this yet, and the reason for that is they're having to put an additional supply in here for the aircon. So they may have to put another bit of conduit in to run some new cables to both sites. So I've agreed I'm just going to leave this now in case they have to put more cables in. But let's see, I've got plenty of other things to do. Okay, so that's my update from today. I'll give you bits and pieces throughout the day, and we'll see how we go on.